People are like, what would you do without your thumb? What if you only had thumbs?
Speaking of that, how's the raccoon bill going?
The General Assembly's out, so I think it's sunk for the session.
No, we need to start right now on the raccoon.
I need a sponsor.
On the raccoon deal. Well, every time I bring it up to the lawmakers that come on my radio show, you know what they do? They laugh.
Right.
They laugh as if we're not serious.
We should trap a raccoon and let it out in their house and see if they really like it.
Or in the General Assembly. On
Even
the floor
better.
of the House of Representatives.
That is great.
But enough about Gloria Johnson. Hey, friends, and welcome. It's time for another edition of All the Best Words. My name is Matt Murphy, and I say sometimes all the best words.
My name is Cameron Smith, and I write all the best words.
And this is All the Best Words.
I know words. I have the best words.
This is All the Best Words with Matt Murphy and Cameron Smith.
It's time for All the Best Words.
I'm generally supportive of more animals in general assemblies and legislatures throughout the country.
You know, I have a situation where I'm being encouraged to get a burro, and that's part of wanting property. And I don't want more work to do.
Mm.
And so my piece has been, we're a dog family.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a human male family, and we're a dog family.
Same.
And so I've made the case that burros and dogs don't like each other. They consider each other burros consider dogs to be like wolves.
The classic, narrative of the burro and the dog.
Oh, who hasn't heard the story?
Everyone has.
Everybody's
obviously.
heard the story. Well, we're proud that you've decided to join us. We ask that you like and subscribe the podcast if you enjoy what's going on. It's quick, it's easy. We're in, we're out. Cameron gives a word, I give a word, and there you go. And Cameron, you're sitting in the catbird seat, so I think you should go first.
Well, my word is a weird word, but it's knuckles. The fact that somebody looked at their hands was like, we'll call these fingers and these things right here that are kind of bumpy, knuckles. What's really interesting is I'm talking about the
Knuckles, by the way.
The knuckles of one Mr. Abrego Garcia, who had some tattoos across his knuckles. And the allegation by the Trump administration was that this was a gang symbol for MS-13.
Okay.
In fact, they took a picture of these knuckles and on top of them, and it looks like Arial font or something like that, wrote MS-13. And that's
this is the M, this is the S, this stands for the 1, this stands for the...
And this happened weeks ago, and we had a kerfuffle about the knuckles, where folks said, oh, great job photoshopping it, when it was pretty clearly that law enforcement had written MS-13 above the respective tattoos on the knuckles. To help people understand what was going on. It was very clearly a explainer. That the font was, there was no effort to hide the fact this is superimposed on the photo. Now, DOJ did not make a statement like clarifying because it was that obvious, right? So that clarified that matter.
It was obvious to everybody, right?
It was, in fact, it was obvious to ABC's Terry Moran, who had an interview with President Trump where he obliquely referenced the knuckle tattoos and said, well, there was the tattoos and then the explainer that was above that wasn't part of the tattoo, to which the President of the United States said, no, what are you talking about? And immediately took to explaining that the clear explainer was actually part of the tattoo on Abrego Garcia's hands, which I don't understand. This is the thing for me that I struggle with the most in Trump world. Why? There's always this multi-dimensional chess or whatever, but on this one, it's pretty clearly like, yeah, we've already explained this. Like,
I think I have the answer.
I want to hear it, man.
I think I have the answer. Sometimes I've noticed when Trump is in an interview setting that he knows will be combative.
Sure.
And he knows that the person sitting next to him is not going to, quote unquote, as he puts it, you're not going to be nice to me.
Right.
I would like for you to be nice. Why don't you be nice? I think he goes into it, and he understood the narrative that some on the political left tried to suggest, right?
Right.
That, you're saying that was really on his fingers and that wasn't really on there, and it was ridiculous, and anybody with a brain recognized that entire thing was ridiculous. I think maybe, and this is my speculation, this is the only defense, that Trump thought that's what Terry Moran was saying, and that's not what Terry Moran was saying.
No, it wasn't.
But Trump decided in his mind that's what he was saying, and so he went with the no, I'll show you, no,
Right.
it's on there, no. And even though Terry Moran clearly said, no, I'm not talking about the tattoos. We know the tattoos are on there. I'm talking about the thing on top of the tattoos. Trump had just already kind of dug in. And sometimes he does that. He digs in on some of these issues that I wish he would not. You know, his 100 Days speech. He spent a generous amount of time talking about the 2020 election.
Yeah.
And I just wish we could move forward a little bit more. And if I had a criticism, and I do on occasion have criticism, I'm going to talk about a criticism that I have of Donald Trump's here in just a minute. I have criticisms of Trump. It's that he sometimes he digs his heels in or won't let go of a bone that he thinks is good for him. And I don't think it might be red meat to the 20% of his base that is going to agree with him no matter what. It is not good for the part of the country that is trying to decide whether or not they think he's doing a good job right now.
Yeah, and my question is literally just why? Like, I'm not mad. I'm just, what are we doing? And I actually believe, because I've watched this happen enough now, that he almost wants to see if he can just mess with somebody's head.
Maybe.
And, you know, this is the reason anytime he's in a hostile interview, he says this one line, and now you're going to hear it every time. He's like, I've never even heard of you. And he likes to tell the person who his team is clearly scheduled an interview with and introduced to, I've never even heard of you. Are you even here?
Outside of a few exceptions like Fox News or maybe News Nation or, you know, some of the more friendly organizations or, you know, unbiased, if he's with an ABC or a CBS or a CNN, I don't care what organization it is, they're the worst to him. He does that too. You guys are the worst. I mean, whoever he's talking to, y'all are the worst to me. I don't know why you're so awful to me, but y'all are the worst.
Well, and you know, that's an interesting thing for another show of, you know, when never before have we had an administration so clearly say, when you disagree with me, you're just the worst. Your thing is not real. Stephen Miller did that with the Fox News polling that wasn't favorable. Stephen Miller's answer was, we believe you need to fire your pollster. And I mean, that's certainly one approach. I think you're going to see that more and more from subsequent administrations. It's like, oh, you're not the boss of me. Sounds great. Matt, what's your word?
My word is, it's unrelated, but it's kind of related to the performance of Donald Trump. My word, it's actually two words. It's my 2 cents. I want to offer my 2 cents about sense. So my word is 2 cents. It was announced this week that officially the penny, the coin,
Is it dead?
it costs us 4 cents to make. We're now at 4 cents for a cent. It has long been a message of mine. It's long been a challenge that I've put upon myself that we eliminate the penny. We need to eliminate the penny. I don't know why we don't eliminate the penny. I will consider it. If we do not eliminate the penny and the time change over the next 3 years of the Trump presidency, I will consider it his personal failure of leadership that we have not done so. And I'm only maybe a third kidding.
I think it's like I want to say it's $176 million.
It's a tremendous amount of money. No one really likes pennies. I have not accepted a penny in the last 15 years of my life, right? If people try to give me pennies, I say keep the pennies. And in an odd amount of it, when you have a monetary exchange, I encourage y'all to do this. Refuse the penny. But say it this way. If you're giving cash and they're giving you change back, say, keep the pennies. And watch the number of times they try to keep all the change. It's very odd. I don't know what it is psychologically. I don't think they're trying to scam you. I just think that you say penny, they think change, and they try to keep all the change. But I'll keep the silver. But no, it came out that it's 4 cents. Donald Trump is on the record as saying that we should eliminate the penny. This should be we need to move into the modern society that we live in and eliminate the penny, Cameron.
Yeah, and we've already had a tax filing season. Well, you know what? On your tax form, they say don't put cents in. Round up, round down. When the IRS is telling you, actually, you made this round down, round up. We just don't want to deal with the cents. it's telling us we probably don't need it.
So 80% of all pennies in circulation, and there are billions, I think there are trillions of pennies in circulation, maybe. There's certainly hundreds of billions. 80% of them are not actually in circulation. They're in people's,
They're parked.
They're right. They're in people's houses. They're in jars. They're under cushions.
They're in your dad's change jar. That's
right.
where they are.
They're not actually in circulation. Now, I understand that Big Copper is all in on the penny push. They want to keep the penny. I understand that the Lincoln people don't want to lose Lincoln on a piece of coinage. I get that there are these tribalistic groups that want to maintain the penny, but I say it's time to
Do we trust less in God?
No. We still, in God, we do trust.
Right.
And we can trust in God on the dime, on the nickel. So there are some people that would legitimately say, well, they're going to screw us, Matt, because they're going to set this up where we're paying more money if you try to screw with the system. To which I say, yes, it is possible that they will set all of this up where we have to spend at any given transaction 2 or 3 cents more.
But so here's my question. Why not nickels and why not dimes?
I wouldn't have a problem with it.
I don't think I would either. In fact, I
don't think I'd have a problem with it.
I don't have a problem with any change.
I would certainly not have a problem with moving to just a zero-based system where you work off the tens. So eliminate the penny, eliminate the nickel. I think people would start freaking out if you start talking about dimes. I think people would start freaking out if you start talking about quarters. But I wouldn't have a problem with it.
Yeah, because I see that you're going to have a give and take, right? For every price that's raised, I mean, we're already seeing prices arbitrarily raised on any number of things, and nobody's like, "Oh, we're getting hosed on that one."
I do think that there are old school people that believe that there is an effort, and maybe there is. I mean, I don't dismiss that there's potentially an effort to move us to a quote unquote digital currency.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a digital currency is a different thing than a cashless society. And you can still be a cash-based society but be cashless.
Yes.
I think we're moving toward a cashless society already, and I don't have a problem with that. A lot of people do. A lot of people freak out about it, but I don't freak out about it nearly as much. So I wouldn't have a problem with eliminating change. I think change is – I mean, when's the last time you had a bunch of change in your pocket?
Long time.
Right.
I've even started paying with my phone. Like, I increasingly don't even –
You don't even pull the debit card.
If I had a digital driver's license, which seems like an obvious thing, I would just carry my phone.
Would you ever do the chip?
Will I take the mark of the beast?
Okay, let's just say it's on a bracelet.
Oh, okay. Totally.
Okay,
Yeah.
but now let's say it's right here in your thumb.
So it's like a thumb ring.
No, it's like the mark of the beast right on your
No,
thumb.
then we can't.
That's the UPC code.
If it's implanted or tattooed, no.
I thought the mark of the beast was like the boop. Remember when they did the scanners? This might be before your time. When I first got into talk radio, they did the scanners, and people were like, "Oh no, the UPC code's the mark of the beast!" Ah!
Well, I think we're going to devolve to phone, and then whatever replaces that will be the next thing. I just think implantables and wearables, yeah, it's not gone well so far.
Eyeball scans. I've seen Minority Report. Remember when Tom Cruise had his eyeballs
Division of
sprayed
Pre-Crime.
Yeah. Okay, so that's going to wrap it up for Just in Time before we talk about plucking your eyeballs out. All the best words. My name is Matt Murphy, and I say all the best words.
My name's Cameron Smith. I write all the best words.
Join us and like and subscribe us.